Hello everyone, I thought I'd give you a quick tour of the back of the plot here, just as an update as to where I'm up to with it, because I know a couple of people have been asking about it. So yeah, let's go and have a look. So these are all the potatoes in. These pots at the end actually are for another little trial. This is all to do with the pink fir apple trial I mentioned. We'll get to that in another video. But here's the beds anyway. Probably doesn't look much different to when you saw it last. These beds here, these big beds, were dug into the hillside. So whereas you can see here these bits are quite high, at the other end they were dug into the soil and quite low. I've now dug out and around them to, you know, level off the pathways in between, which are now looking good. This one incidentally is going to be bark in there, and that's what I've got in here, whole load of recycled bark. This one will be a paving stone path because it goes directly from the tunnel to over here, the sitting area. But yeah, I've had to level off all these paths because the compost company where I was going to get my supply from for this year have changed their pricing structure and the way they operate, meaning I can't afford the amount of compost that I thought I could. So I'm having to improvise, and I've been doing some creative digging, hence why there's big piles of soil on here ready to be spread out. I say I've dug these beds out so that they're now level, and on this side I've carried it on, and you can see here I've dug this pathway out. You can see it more clearly up here. This lump is still to come out, as is that one at the top. But by doing so, I can fill these beds and protect the timber at the end, actually, because the timber was quite high up on the soil level. Now it's all going to be dug out and put in the beds, and then I can put a final layer of cardboard on the top and then compost. I am going to get some, just not as much as I hoped. In here, this is the new polytunnel built last year, still not finished. We'll get there. And it's hardly a growing space, is it, at the moment? But this is all the cardboard for those beds, and all of this cardboard, the whole lot, will go down in those beds. Don't need it all, but it'll all go in. And there are various timbers at various stages in here. This pile of decking timbers here will make the sweet pea beds. Some of these painted timbers here will be for the dahlia beds and the surrounds, so that will finish off the far side over by the fence. But these big, thicker, old, very thick scaffolding boards are what's going to edge down this pathway here to hold back this soil and so terrace this plot. So they'll go all the way down this cut edge down there, just to hold back that soil. And if I need more soil before I finish these beds and before I get the compost in, because I've dug out to put the polytunnel level, there is a pronounced lump there that I can go at, and I'll just start working my way forward until I'm happy with the soil levels in these beds. Well, this is why it's taken so long. All this was unexpected, and I only found out probably 10 days ago that I was going to have to take another course of action. So it's kind of delaying, but it's kind of good in a way. I'm looking at it as a positive note, because now these beds are fully exposed as opposed to being dug into the soil. So much happier than that. The only issue, if there is one, is that there will now be a step down from over there into this new sort of sunken area, but a quick making a step of some description there will soon sort that out. So not really an issue. So rainbows and unicorns again for me. We'll get it sorted, and hopefully by the end of this week I should be planting in these beds. I've got some plants desperate to go out, and if it doesn't look like I'll get them out this week, then I'll have to plant them in the beds at the front of the plot. But for now, we're looking quite good, and I'm quite pleased with where I'm up to. Right, let's go home and pot on some seedlings. So I'm back up home at the greenhouse and I'm about to pot on some Cosmos seedlings. Well, what I've been trying to do this year is trying to clear out my seed box. I've got so many old seeds, and every year you buy a new packet of seeds, a slightly different variety, and they build up over time and you have so many. So I've been trying to use them up. The end result is that when you do use them up, you can have very erratic germination, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. To the point of where you get no germination at all. Now, I know many folk do it, and I've done it for years. Saved old seeds, use them and you'll get good germination. But in general, and as a rule of thumb, if it's a couple of years past its sell-by date, it's not going to be at its best, and it's probably best to just chuck them out or pass them on to somebody who wants to use them, or throw them in a border where they can germinate if they want to, and get yourself some fresh seeds in. If they're really close to your heart, then obviously save them and suffer them. But I'll show you now the results of using old seeds, as I've been trying to do this season, and why I'm not going to try not to do it anymore. Now, you all know I can make seeds grow, and I sow a lot of them, but here are some seeds here, and the majority of these are old, and I think these are all dahlias in here, zinnias. I mean, look, there's just nothing, and they've been on there long enough now to have gotten going. This is carnations in these two, and you can see that one or two are just starting to poke their heads up. They're not quite as old, these carnations, as the zinnias and the dahlias are. And what I've done with the dahlias is, as I've found varieties that are suitable for cut flower growing, I buy a new variety every year. Some of these are 4 or 5 years old. And it's the same up here, more carnations up here, 1 or 2 germinations, but not much. And this is Melope, again old seed, but it's most noticeable as we move over here into this lot at the front here. All this here is Cosmos, and right down the end here is a variety called Bright Lights, where we have no germination at all. Purity, which is probably my favourite all time Cosmos, is a lovely white flower, 3 germination, and there's probably 50 or 60 seeds on each of those, and next to nothing germination. The one I bought the next year to go with the Picotee, to go with the Purity, is this one here, the Picotee, which you can see again, quite patchy germination. And then this one here, Sensation Mixed, this was to go with the Picotee the year after, and this is the freshest and newest seed here, this one, which is the Dazzler, and that's a cracking variety. I mean, I've got plenty of Cosmos, I don't need all of these. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pot on what I need into a tray, and the rest, whatever's left here, will go into sort of trays that I can give away. And we have a hospice table at our allotment site at the top there, with an honesty box, and plants get put up there. Local people walking the dogs see it, they take what plants they want, put some money in the honesty box for the local hospice. But there you go, it's a good enough example. And I say the Bright Lights are certainly out of date, the Purity probably just out of date, but there's more seeds back here. This is all Rudbeckia, and we've got very patchy germination on these. And as I say, you all know I can grow seeds, so this is what happens with old seeds and how they can let you down. So I'm just going to pop these on into some of these container wise trays, let them grow on a bit, and then I'll bump them up again into something bigger. And this is the Purity. They were sown into sieve compost, so they come out nice and easy, and then we'll just pop them in, nice and simple. And that's it, and I'll fill up this tray with what I want, and the rest will be given over to the hospice table at the allotments, or to other plot holders, to be honest, as well. That's also an option. But next year I'll be running on new seeds. I could sow fewer in a smaller space and get better germination. So there we go, that's that one variety, 3 plants out of all that. But there we go, happy now. So there we go, this video was chiefly just to give you an update on the back of the plot, but I did feel that that information about the seeds, the storage times, the use by dates, and that was relevant, that you should see it. So that's why I've added that in at the end of that. Hopefully you found it useful. But that's it for now. I'll be back in a couple of days with a sowing video for April, and this one will be the flowers, and probably do that at the allotments. We'll see where we end up. But for now, look after yourselves everyone, stay safe, and see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.